Welcome. I'm so glad you're here, and I can't wait to share this beautiful story with you. It's one that carries timeless lessons about the importance of silence, introspection, and self-awareness. So, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the journey of one disciple who learned the true power of stillness and how it changed his life forever. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village, there was a grand hermitage dedicated to Gautam Buddha. It was a place of wisdom and peace, where many disciples gathered to learn and practice under the guidance of a respected Buddhist teacher. Among these disciples, there was one who, though he had good intentions, had a habit of talking excessively. He was a man who filled the air with stories, gossip, and opinions, always eager to be heard. Whenever he went out to collect donations, he would bring back new stories from every house, sharing them with everyone at the ashram. But what really bothered the other disciples was how he often spoke behind people's backs, criticizing them to others, all while trying to appear perfect and above the rest. He was always boasting about his intelligence and achievements, claiming to be the best of them all. He would frequently tell everyone, "I come from a wealthy family. I could have stayed in a life of luxury, enjoying all the comforts the world has to offer. But I left that behind to search for the truth, to understand myself and the deeper meaning of life. My sacrifice is greater than any of yours." He believed that because of his background, his journey was somehow more significant, more meaningful than the others. One day, the guru called all the disciples together. With a serene smile, he said, "I want each of you to make a resolution for the next month. This is not just any resolution. It should be one that challenges you, one that strengthens your willpower and determination. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. It should be something you can truly commit to. But remember, if you break your resolution before the month is up, you will return to your old ways." Each disciple thought carefully and made their resolutions, some choosing big challenges, others more modest ones. But this talkative disciple, eager to stand out, couldn't accept something as simple as the resolutions the others had chosen. He went straight to the guru's cottage and proudly said, "I don't want a small resolution like the others. I want something that matches my abilities, something grand. Please, tell me what I should do." The guru looked at him with a smile, his eyes calm yet knowing. "Are you sure you can handle the resolution I give you? I doubt you'll be able to keep it. It might be too difficult for you." The disciple, not understanding the challenge, replied quickly, "Whatever you give me, I'll fulfill it. I am strong enough." The guru nodded slowly. "All right then. Your resolution is simple. You will remain silent for the entire month. Not a word will leave your mouth for the next 30 days. The disciple was taken aback. "Silent? That's it? Is this truly a challenge for me? I thought you would give me something more difficult. Surely I can keep quiet for a month. Give me something harder." But the guru remained firm. "First, fulfill this resolution. Prove to yourself that you can follow through before seeking more difficult tasks." And so, the disciple left the guru's cottage, now bound to a vow of silence. He initially thought it would be easy. After all, how hard could it be to remain silent for a month? But soon, things started to change. By the second day, he began to feel the pressure. His mind grew restless, and the silence around him felt heavier. By the third day, he started feeling a strange unease. The other disciples spoke freely among themselves, and the urge to join them to add his own words grew stronger. He found himself making gestures with his mouth and eyes, trying to communicate without speaking. But the challenge continued to weigh on him, day after day. As the days passed, he began to feel physically ill. His headache and his chest felt tight. He couldn't concentrate on anything. He just wanted to speak. It was as if his mind couldn't breathe without releasing his words. In desperation, he wrote to the guru, "Gurudev, I am struggling. My mind is exploding. I cannot breathe without speaking. I am losing control. Should I break my resolution?" The guru read his letter and with a calm smile responded, "Resolutions are meant to challenge you, to help you grow stronger from within. Breaking your resolution would be a return to your old ways. But remember, if you cannot handle this small resolution, how will you handle the greater challenges of life? The choice is yours, but think carefully." These words hit the disciple hard. He left the guru's cottage and retreated to his hut, keeping to himself. For the next 15 days, he remained silent. He only spoke when absolutely necessary and spent the rest of his time in solitude. Though it was difficult, he found that the more he stayed silent, the more he could hear his inner thoughts, his inner voice. And what he heard was unsettling. The voices in his mind were loud and persistent even though he wasn't speaking. It was as if his mind was filled with endless chatter. He wrote to the guru again, "Gurudev, I have remained silent on the outside, but inside, my mind is full of noise. The more I try to stay quiet, the louder the voices inside me become. Is my resolution still valid?" The guru replied, "Yes, your resolution is still intact. But you must understand that external silence is not enough. You must also quiet the noise within your mind. As long as you listen to the chatter around you, your mind will continue to speak. To truly find peace, you must separate yourself from those distractions." With a new understanding, the disciple left the ashram and ventured into the forest, seeking complete solitude. Days turned into weeks, and no one saw him. The other disciples began to worry. Some feared that he had met with an unfortunate end. But the guru remained patient, confident that the disciple was on a path to something profound. 3 months passed without a word from the disciple. Eventually, everyone had lost hope, thinking that perhaps he had perished in the wilderness. But then, one day, he returned to the ashram. When he entered, everyone was astonished. The change in him was undeniable. His face radiated calm, and there was a peacefulness in his eyes that no one had seen before. Gone was the restless, talkative person who had left. The disciples gathered around him, eager to speak with him, but they quickly noticed something different. When he spoke, his words were measured, calm, and thoughtful. He no longer rushed to fill the silence, nor did he seem impatient. His presence was soothing. The disciple went straight to the guru, and with a deep bow he asked, "Gurudev, am I still silent? Is my resolution still intact?" The guru smiled warmly, his eyes full of wisdom. "Yes, you are still silent. Your words now come from a place of true peace, and that peace reflects your inner transformation." The disciple smiled gently. "When I left the ashram, I was silent with my mouth, but my mind was still full of noise. Now, I have learned to quiet my mind as well. I understand now that true silence is not just about not speaking, but about finding peace within." The guru nodded. "You have understood the essence of silence. It's not just the absence of words, but the absence of the restless chatter of the mind. This is the true power of silence, and in that silence, you have found your true self." From that day on, the once talkative disciple was a changed man. His words were few, but when he spoke, they carried great weight. The transformation wasn't just about the silence he had kept for a month. It was about the peace he had found within himself, a peace that he could now carry with him wherever he went. And so, the disciple learned that silence wasn't just about stopping the flow of words. It was about learning to listen to the world, to others, and most importantly, to oneself. The noise of the mind may never completely disappear, but in silence, we can learn to live in harmony with it. There were many questions racing through my mind, and they just wouldn't stop. I was desperate for some clarity, so I decided to retreat to the forest, hoping that within its serene embrace, I would find peace, and that the relentless chatter of my mind would finally subside. But the more I ventured into solitude, the louder the voice within me grew. It wasn't just the usual thoughts. I began hearing echoes of old voices, memories of past actions, things I had said and things I had done. It became clear to me that I had been avoiding something deep inside myself. At that moment, I realized how terribly wrong I had been. All the words I had said to my family, my friends, and even to my guru brothers now felt like bitter poison in my own ears. I had believed at the time that my words were justified, that I was in the right. I even convinced myself that mocking and gossiping about my guru brothers made me somehow better than them. But now, in the vast quiet of the forest, I saw things with a different perspective. It was as though I had been wearing blinders and now they had been ripped away. For the first time, I understood the harm in my words, the ripple effect they had on those around me, and most painfully, on myself. The voices inside me, those whispers of regret, guilt, and self-doubt, kept swirling, intensifying, until one day something changed. Slowly but surely, the constant noise within started to fade. My thoughts became quieter, more peaceful, and eventually, the voices stopped. In that dense forest where there were no distractions, no noise, there was only silence, both externally and internally. And in that silence, I finally understood the true meaning of peace. I had always thought silence was just the absence of sound, but in the forest, it was something much deeper. It was not just the absence of noise, but the presence of calm within myself. The forest was alive with sounds, of wind rustling the leaves, birds singing their morning songs, and the gentle flow of water, but they were no longer disturbed. I could hear them now with a sense of clarity and awareness that I had never known before. It was in that stillness that I felt the most profound peace. It felt as though the world around me had come to life in a way I had never experienced. I could hear everything so clearly, yet nothing disturbed me. Then, for the first time in a long while, I felt a stir within me, a deep urge to break this tranquility. Without thinking, I shouted into the vast emptiness, "Oh God, what kind of peace is this? Why is everything so quiet? What happened?" But even as my voice echoed through the trees, the peace remained undisturbed. The forest was as calm as ever, and the quiet inside me remained untouched. That was when I truly understood something profound. Though I was surrounded by people, I was still alone inside. I could speak, I could walk, I could observe, but none of it changed the silence that had settled within me. I was in a crowd, yet I was completely solitary, deeply at peace with myself. It was then that my guru appeared in my thoughts. His words echoed in my mind. As long as we keep speaking on the outside, there will always be unrest inside. But when we turn inward and speak only when necessary, we find peace, even in the chaos of the world. Most of the suffering in the world is born from our constant need to speak, to explain ourselves, to be heard. We don't listen, we just want to talk. We don't want to understand others, we want to be understood. This leads to conflict, because all we do is waste our energy in words that mean little. In a world like this, people live in a perpetual state of sorrow, always speaking but never listening. He continued, "Silence has become an alien concept because we associate it with weakness. We speak more than we should, and it drains us. This incessant need to talk pulls us away from our true selves, and what is there in the world but noise? The more we speak, the further we move from the truth. If you wish to find peace within, you must first silence your outward chatter." All the great Buddhas and sages who attained enlightenment, they sought solitude, not because they wanted to escape the world, but because they knew the power of silence. Silence is the bridge to your inner world. To be truly at peace, you must learn to be still, to listen to the silence both around and within you. You can be at peace in the world too, but only if you learn to save your energy, which is often wasted on unnecessary words. The lesson from this story is simple. Speaking without purpose is a drain on your energy. Talking too much and too often distances us from our inner selves. If you truly wish to understand your own thoughts, your own soul, you must learn to be still and listen. When we silence the noise, we can hear the whispers of the heart, the subtle rhythms of the universe, and in that stillness, we find the answers we seek. This is the path to true peace. I hope you found something meaningful in this story, and perhaps it has encouraged you to look within and discover the quiet power of silence. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If this resonated with you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more reflections.